Okay, guys, so pick it up with part two here, right where we left off, talking about the grants and how we work with the outside uh, businesses and colleges. Specifically, KU works with us a lot through a program called KU Gear Up, KU Talent Search. We actually have a college and career coordinator right now that is working with us from K-State, and then a lot of that's due to our Title I status. Social tensions, gangs definitely are prevalent and becoming more and more of an issue as we gotta get through our school year. A lot of graffiti on the walls, specifically in the bathroom and over the desks and things like that. Fights are a thing that happens very frequently, whether it's down in the cafeteria during lunch, before school, after school. Whether it's fighting in the bathrooms is a common occurrence. Just today, I had a couple kids in class that started kind of moving in that direction. Had to make sure I kind of stopped that before it started up or before it got any worse. But it's definitely an issue that we have to deal with on a relatively frequent basis. As far as racial tension, there's not much because we are so diverse, because we have so many different people from so many different walks of life. It's a very accepting place. Not to say that a racial slur or something like that might not, if it is said, it is said in anger. To get under somebody's skin, I would assume, as it always is said, but it is not something that it is something that's going on a daily basis. So it's not nearly the issue that our economic issues with gangs and things like that that brings up. So then again, just kind of that point about low SES and all the issues that go with being in that classification, whether it's drugs, gangs, whatever the case may be. That's really our biggest issues stem from that. In terms of extra sources of information that are kind of outside of the norm a little bit, the district website is kind of the hub for everything. Whether you want board minutes, you want policies, procedures, dress code, anything like that. That's kind of where all that stuff is, as well as the contact information for everybody in the district. So I believe we do a good job of at least giving people the ability to voice their concerns and contact the people that they need to get their assistance from. Other than that, the Wyandotte County offices, Wyandotte County and the city of Kansas City, Kansas, we have a unified government. So, it's a relatively small place in terms of geographical area, but we do have a very large population, because of our size and kind of where we're at located and things like that. But you can get a lot of different things based on health, demographic data, the just different limits of the different boroughs in the city, because as Kansas City has grown, it has taken over or incorporated different areas. Like specifically the borough that I work in for Harmon is called Argentine. Way back when, 100 and some odd years ago, it was its own town. It was its own area, and then just over time, as Kansas City grew, it began to incorporate those other smaller areas. Our power structure, it's top down. As they say, everything rolls downhill, right? And that's very true in our district. Everything is, kind of, the decisions are made at the top and delegated down to us teachers. Whether that's from the board and the superintendent, just kind of whoever it comes from, down to the building principals, to the academy principals, and then from there down to our SLC or PLC leads, to kind of get disseminated out to the rest of us. And then, kind of our bottom up, if you will, part of this for the teachers is we have a teachers union. Obviously, we're public school, and we're really trying to restart our PTA. It has been gone now for 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I believe. And we're trying to get that back up and running. And it went out just like anything else because there was little involvement. So we had little parent involvement, so it just kind of collapsed in upon itself. Multicultural issues. Like I've been talking about this whole time, we're very diverse. It's one of the things I love about working there. Very commonly, I'm the only white guy in the room. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I got a kid in my 8th hour, my 7th and my 8th hour, that she's been in the country for 3 years, I believe. And, I'm helping her with her English as well as her economics and her government work, and she's helping me with her Spanish. We shared, what recipes we're having for dinner, and it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy that. I use current events a lot in my class, and being able to have kids, if we're talking about Bangladesh for whatever reason, and having a kid that's from Bangladesh, or if we're talking about Somali pirates and stuff going on off the coast of Africa, to have kids who are from Somalia, like that brings it home. And it really gives those kids who, typically are behind academically a chance to shine. So I wouldn't have it any other way, and I absolutely love it. And diversity is something that we embrace. We have a very large Muslim population, and, we always make sure that there is a non-pork option at school for lunch. If just, from coaching football, we would have, we had dinners for the guys before the games, and we always had to make sure that there was an option that didn't have pork in it, because we had several guys, as well as a coach on our staff, who were Muslim and couldn't eat pork due to religious reasons. So in terms of how we approach it, it's very, very inclusive, and it's very accommodating, and it's not an issue. It's seen as something that's normal. It's normal to be different. It's seen as, because that is our normal. That's what we are used to. We're used to everybody being different, and it's when you ask a kid, oh well, how do you do this at home? How do you do that? If a Muslim kid, if you're looking at him and you're like, hey, so what do you do over, winter break, Christmas break? What do you do? And to them, they're just kind of like, well, it's kind of weird. It's just this random set of days off in the middle of the year. But it's not seen as offensive to ask somebody about themselves, ask them about their culture. It's something that is welcomed, and it's something that is encouraged. Along with that, our communication always goes out in multiple languages. Our signage within our buildings, I've already talked about it, that it's in 5 or 7 different languages to write library up on the wall, or to write office, or whatever the case may be. And then just within the classroom lessons, like I said, the positives, I already mentioned the positives, just of bringing in those different points of view. And the only negative aspect of it is that a lot of our Hispanic kids go home for Christmas, 2 weeks before it gets out, and they come back, January 20th or so. So just extended breaks because they're going out of the country, or, our Muslim kids, when they're observing different holidays throughout the year, that, they're missing those, or, all those different cultural aspects that we as a relatively Christian society don't plan around and don't accommodate. It's something that we as teachers need to kind of make sure that we know our kids, we know where they're coming from, and make sure that we're kind of picking up for those things. Our power structure is super political right now, all the way from the building principals to the new superintendent and the school board. The school board's butting heads with the superintendent, with the different building principals, and actually with itself. So there's a huge issue at this time in our district in terms of power, and in terms of who's in control and how much authority different groups have over the decisions that are being made. And then with that, I think our board is doing an awesome job of trying to measure the public opinion. They're doing listening tours. They're going out to each of the different high schools throughout the year and having meetings where they're just going out and they're all showing up. People from the community are coming out and saying, hey, here's an issue I have. We need to get this taken care of. Here's a shortcoming. Here's some people that we need to work with. Here are just some in general ideas of how we could do things better. Now, obviously, those things aren't all going to necessarily be able to be accomplished. But at least the board is getting out and trying to know what the public wants. My biggest complaint about this is that the board isn't responding to those issues. They may take them back and talk about them kind of behind closed doors and things like that. However, there are no immediate, which I understand, but there are no immediate responses given to the people who are voicing those concerns. So it kind of leaves the participants a little empty-handed at times. So that's a little bit about our district. It's a interesting place, to say the least. It's never boring, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Again, I apologize for it being a little bit long. I just kind of love talking about myself, and I love talking about my kids and where I work. So again, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you made it all the way through this. So thanks again.